Well, good morning. It is September 11th, day 122 on the trail for me. Now, if you've been paying attention to the dates, you notice I just skipped a day. So, on the 9th, after dinner, and as I was settling down, started feeling a bit nauseous. And then overnight, between the 9th and the 10th, I was having some gastrointestinal issues. Let's just call it that. I was, between midnight and 6 a.m., I was in the bathroom a bunch of times. I suppose I was fortunate to be at a hostel and not out on the trail. But I barely slept. And so I took an unintentional zero. I took a medical zero, let's call it that. And just sort of sat around at the alpaca farm most of the day. Feeling better today. Once it sort of passed, I was fine. But that was not fun. Seem to be doing all right so far. About an hour into hiking today, and everything seems okay. So I'm gonna move on and not count that day towards my days on the trail. Ken and Cindy at the hostel were very helpful, gracious hosts, and helped me out as I needed it. So I really appreciate that. Plan for today is about 18 and a half miles to a campsite. I'm supposed to have good water near it. I hope it does. It's got some recent comments saying that there's good flow, and so I'm gonna hope for that, plan for that, so that way I don't have to carry too much water in, and I'll be able to just get into the campsite and get water there and do my cooking and stuff, and leave with fresh water instead of having to carry out the water I need for the morning as well. So when you have to carry water in to a campsite, you're not just carrying in for that night, right? You're carrying in for the morning as well. And you got to think ahead, say, okay, well, where's my next water source in the morning? How far do I have to walk before I get more water? So hopefully that works out well. This next, this segment that I'm doing now in Southern Virginia, there's supposed to be some pretty cool stuff. In particular, I'm going to be going through an area called the Grayson Highlands, which is above 5,000 feet, and it's supposed to be reminiscent of the Scotland Highlands. I think that's where it got its name. I think that's why they call it the Highlands. I could be wrong, but I feel like I heard that somewhere. And if I get lucky, there's ponies that roam the Highlands, and I might be able to get to see some ponies. That will be not tomorrow, but the next day, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. All right, but we'll see. And again, I'm going through, the next town is Damascus, and the trail goes right through it. So that'll be nice. And then I'm pretty much done with Virginia. I think there's a couple miles after Damascus on the trail, and then you're in Tennessee. All right. Well, as always, if I see something interesting, I will grab a picture or some video But for now, here's what the trail looks like. This is an old schoolhouse. It looks like from 1894. It's right along the trail. Got a little bit of a view here. A couple of ridges up to another mountain. Alright, so the trail takes us to the Mount Rogers National Recreational Area. And the headquarters here. So it's about 12:30. I'm gonna do my best to find a nice place to sit down, have a little break, grab some lunch, and rest for a little bit. Still got about 6.5 miles to go, I think. To my planned campsite. Well, this seems like a good place to break. All right, see you in a bit. And just next to the visitor center is the Partnership Shelter. And that's one of the bigger ones on the trail. Looks pretty nice. Ladder there to the second level. Nice space here. It has a shower. Yep, there's the shower. Okay. I'm not gonna use it, but it's awful nice that they have one here. Huh. All right. Back on the trail. A little bit of a telephone wire view. I think it's telephone. We get a slight view here of the Rye Valley. All right, so I'm at my campsite. There's a water source is, I don't know, maybe 100 yards away, and actually a pretty good one. It was very easy to fill up my water bag and filter from there, so worked out pretty well. Yeah, it was, I mean, a longer day. I mean, 18 point, something miles, but all in all, it wasn't too difficult. I only had one significant climb, really, and then the rest was just a bunch of smaller ups and downs. Tomorrow is just, I have it planned for just over 15 miles, but I was looking at it again, and it's only 1.2 miles more to a shelter area, but it would have to be a water carry in because the water there's comments saying that there's no water at the shelter. So, and it's an uphill, so we'll see. I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling. Again, it's only a 15 point something tomorrow, so I can probably do, another 1.5 miles or so with some water. No fun, but I think I'd prefer that over just, another random campsite. I just heard a horse neighing. I think we're not too far from a residence. I don't know, some private land. I was looking across the way and I saw a gate. So, I don't know. So anyways, that's about it for the day. I did run across Chuck and Delane again. So they got dropped off yesterday morning south of here, and we're hiking north back to the hostel, to the alpaca farm. So I ran across them today. They were going to stay at the shelter. Gosh, I forgot the name of it. The shelter that I showed earlier today, and so they were probably there. I don't know, maybe half hour or less than an hour after I ran into them. So I'm sure hope they're doing well, and by the time this video shows up, they'll be back in Georgia. I think that's where they said they lived. So it's good seeing you again. Otherwise, that's about it. So as always, if you've stuck through to the end, you know I appreciate it. I'll see you again tomorrow on the trail.